All right, everybody. Let's get into reassembling this diff today. This is just Traxxas Diff Fluid. This is 500K I'm going to be using for this rear diff. And let's start the reassembly process. I'm going to reassemble it the exact way I disassembled it, just in reverse. And we will be putting in this nice clipless Kraken lace shaft. One thing I want to mention, this here is reverse thread. So it's righty loosey, lefty tighty. And the reason it's like that is as the engine spins, this will just get tighter. If anything, it won't come apart. So with that being said, let's get into it. This is the side I'm going to put together first, and I couldn't get all of that RTV out of there, so I'm just going to go around with my pick and just loosen up as much as I can, and then I'll let this fall right on the floor and I'll vacuum it up later. Like so. So what I wanted to tell everybody is how exactly I clean this stuff. And the best cleaner that I have found to clean the grease off these diff parts and everything and all the gears, this stuff dissolves the grease in hot soapy water, and I just spray this on. This stuff is amazing. I spray it on all the parts. I let it sit maybe a couple seconds. It foams. It foams real good. As the foam starts to dissipate, then I have a nylon brush, and I brush all these gears with the nylon brush, and I rinse it in hot soapy water, and this stuff dissolves the grease. It's amazing. It's so much better than using brake lean. It's not as harsh, and I use it on the billet and the anodized. It's amazing. I can't talk about it enough. So here is the O-ring. Make sure you get your O-ring in there. That's what seals your drive cup. Outside bearing. These are just shielded bearings. Make sure you're putting the right bearings in the right spot. Make sure you're putting all your pins in the right spot. And now you fish the drive pin through. Oh, my bad. Did that a little backwards. Drive pin goes through the drive cup first. Like so. And then you line it up with your gear. There. Perfect. So then I stand this up like this, and now I build off of this. So there's 4 of these little plastic carriers, and then there's 4, I call these ninja stars. You put those together like this. Like that. So you get them all put together. Like that. And then your Planetary Gears Once that goes together like this, it goes into there like that. This goes in like that. And then these go into the diff like so. Here's one half. All right, there we go. That's how this case, or sorry, this diff should look. Put your plugs back in. Nice even torque. Don't want to strip those out. And then we open up our diff fluid. My big paws couldn't open that up. And then this right here, I'm not even going to put the top on. Start packing her in. 500K is quite thick. I just take it like this and I work it in. Let's see how it made like a little ball in the center. As that's working around, it's pulling it down onto that lower gear. Now, this may not be the correct way to do things, but this is how I do things, and I've never had an issue with it. So take that with a grain of salt if you would, but this is how I do it. Just because I do something a certain way doesn't mean I feel like everybody should. It's just everybody's preference. Then I'm just going to keep working it around. Let it sit. Pull a little bit more in. Set that off to the side. Now, a lot of people say that you should let that sit for 24 hours, let all the air work out of it. I just don't have the time or patience for that, so I'll let it sit while I'm assembling the other half. Usually by that time, it's pretty much good enough for me. Is what There it is. Ring gear goes on top. Now for the bolts. Just like anything else, I cross torque. There we have it. Nice and locked up. The way I like it. I like running all my stuff within the safe range, as I call it. So now you grab half of your case and see, half your case. Bearing. Another one of your bearings, like so. Your center idler. Grab your other half of your case, your other idler gear, and then this half. Before you put this bearing in, you gotta drop your seal in. So you got your seal and then your bearing. So now, crack and lay shaft. Push this through. The drive pin for the lay shaft. Now we take our snap ring. Let me grab another snap ring. Looks like I stretched that one when I took it off. That's why it's important to look over everything as you're reassembling. Just open this thing up. So it barely fits over the shaft. Double check that's locked in. Idler bearing. Done. Beautiful. Alright. We got that in right now. And boy, does that just roll nice. So now what I do is I told you about the grease, how I grease these. There we go. That's how I like to grease. Please hold for technical difficulties. Sandwich your case together. Start in my hand. Then I guess crisscross as best you can. Beautiful. And you can see we're greased up in there. So now I'll grease up that idler gear once more. Put a big old glob right like that. Boom. Just like that. Now, I'll put the back of the trans on. Like that. Done. This point I'll look around, make sure my paper plates are empty, and then all the stuff that came off the part go back in. Make a mess out of the Loctite. Now I like this tool because you can see as I get to torque, it'll pull it out of my hand. And then I can go back through and give them my torque them back up. That tool's not going to fit like that. In my eyes, these four are the most important ones. So yeah, I just hold this nice and light, and then as it comes to torque, it spins in my hand. So it doesn't over torque the bolt, and then I can torque it by hand. And now, I just go through with my microfiber. I wipe it all down. There you have it. ROVAN red billet anodized trans with the Kraken clipless lay shaft. I will be installing this onto the FT360 shortly. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.